The prison blood test was supposed to be routine, until the terminal spoke. "Release him, Your Majesty, to the human." Before we dive in, drop a quick hi in the comments and tell me where you're watching from. It helps a lot. The sterile white walls of Detention Center 47 gleamed under harsh lights that never dimmed, a constant reminder that no one here was ever unseen. Nathan Brooks had spent 342 days inside, though he'd stopped counting after the first 100. Chief Medical Officer Valera Sex moved through the lab with mechanical precision. Today was blood screening day for Section C, another tedious sweep for health data and genetic records. "Bring in the first subject," she ordered. The guard drone hummed away and soon returned with a human male, prisoner 47C89. His file listed trespassing in a restricted zone and suspected espionage, though proof was never found. Nathan's steps were slow, restricted by gravitational shackles. His once strong frame had thinned, but the quiet defiance in his eyes hadn't faded. "Sit," Valera commanded. He obeyed silently, scanning the lab with that same sharp awareness she'd come to expect from him. "Extend your arm." The needle pierced with flawless precision, drawing crimson into a vial. Just another test in a long routine. "All done," she said, sealing the sample. Nathan stood as the drone moved to escort him out. But then a sharp chime broke the silence. Valera frowned. Too soon. The system never processed results that fast. She turned to the screen, then froze. Genetic anomaly detected. Royal Zenturian bloodline present. Imperial Protocol 7A activated. Message: "Release him, Your Majesty." For a heartbeat, she couldn't move. A human, carrying Zenturian royal DNA? Impossible. "Is there a problem, Doctor?" Nathan asked quietly. Valera locked the terminal and faced him. "Return him to the holding area, not his cell," she told the drone, masking her shock. Once alone, she reran the test twice. Same result. The computer recognized this human as royal. Her third heart quickened. Imperial Protocol 7A wasn't just old code. It was law. Centuries ago, it prevented royal heirs from being secretly imprisoned. Now it had triggered for a human. Reporting this could be dangerous. If the prison director learned first, the man might vanish. If the palace did, she could be accused of treason. After a tense pause, she made her choice. Contact Subcommander Reich, her cousin in the Imperial Guard. He'd know how to handle it. Hours later, the monotony of Detention Center 47 shattered as a black Imperial shuttle descended. Royal guards in crimson armor marched in, followed by High Counselor Therum, the Emperor's chief advisor. Nathan watched from the holding area, uncertain but hopeful. Whatever had changed, it was about him. The doors opened. The 7-foot-tall Zenturian entered, robes shimmering with Imperial sigils, his third eye glowing faintly. "You are the human called Nathan Brooks?" Therum asked, his deep voice echoing. "I am," Nathan said, straightening as much as his frail body allowed. To his shock, "A grave mistake has been made," the High Counselor said, his tone solemn. "One the Centurion Empire deeply regrets. You are to be released at once and escorted to the Imperial Palace on Zener Prime." Nathan blinked, stunned. "I don't understand." Therum's expression was unreadable, but his voice carried reverence and unease. "Your blood carries markers of the Imperial House of Zenter. By our most sacred laws, you must be treated with the honor due your heritage." "My heritage?" Nathan echoed, bewildered. "There must be a mistake. I'm human, born on Earth." "Born. That is what we must determine," Therum replied evenly. "The Emperor himself wishes to meet you. Your restraints will be removed, and you will be provided attire befitting your station." A guard stepped forward, deactivating the gravitational restraints. For the first time in nearly a year, Nathan could move freely. "What about my belongings?" he asked, thinking of the small trinket his grandmother had given him before he left Earth. A blue stone pendant she'd called a family heirloom. "All your possessions will be returned," Therum said, including the artifact catalogued as jewelry of unknown origin. Nathan was led to a private chamber, where a sonic shower washed away months of confinement. He was dressed in tailored Centurion formal wear, soft silken fabric that felt alien after so long in rags. When a guard brought him a small box containing his things, His hands trembled as he lifted the pendant. It looked the same as ever, deep blue stone in a silver setting. Yet it now seemed to hum faintly in his hand, alive with hidden meaning. "We're ready to depart," Therum announced from the doorway. "The Emperor awaits." The journey to Zenter Prime took 3 days. The Imperial shuttle sped through hyperspace faster than any commercial craft Nathan had ever seen. He was no longer treated as a prisoner, but as a guest of state, given a private cabin, exquisite meals, and access to curated archives. Therum visited daily, polite but watchful. During these talks, Nathan carefully pried for answers. "The blood test identified Imperial genetic markers," Therum explained one evening. "They are not simple DNA sequences, but quantum-encoded patterns existing at the subatomic level. Impossible to fake." "But that's not possible," Nathan said. "My family's human, always has been." Therum's third eye narrowed. "Are you certain of your complete lineage? The data suggests a connection roughly 4 generations past." Nathan hesitated, recalling his grandmother, Eliza Brooks, a merchant who'd traveled the outer sectors before retiring to Earth. She'd always deflected questions about her early life. "My grandmother might have had secrets," he admitted, "but she was human." "Perhaps," Therum replied slowly. "There are records of interspecies genetic transfer, but never involving royal blood. It is unprecedented." On the final day, the shuttle dropped out of hyperspace. Through the viewport, Zenter Prime filled Nathan's vision, a massive world of violet oceans, emerald continents, and glittering orbital rings that caught the sunlight like jewels. "It's beautiful," Nathan murmured. "It is home," Therum said quietly. "And perhaps, in some way, yours as well." The ship descended through glowing clouds, passing the golden spires of Zenturia, the capital, before approaching the colossal Imperial Palace, perched on a plateau overlooking the Verilian Sea. As they touched down, Nathan felt a strange pull deep within. A whisper brushing the edge of his thoughts. His hand went to his pendant. It was warm. Therum noticed. "The artifact," he said. "May I see it?" Nathan hesitated, then handed it over. The counselor examined it closely, his 3 eyes focusing on faint engravings around the edge of the stone. "This is no ornament," he said softly. "It bears the seal of the ancestral vault, a repository of royal relics from the First Dynasty. How did you come to own this?" "My grandmother gave it to me," Nathan replied. "She said it was a family heirloom." Therum returned it with care, bowing his head slightly. "This mystery deepens with every answer. The Emperor must be informed at once." The Emperor of Zenter, Varaxian the Wise, was not what Nathan expected. High Counselor bowed. The Emperor of Zenter was nothing like Nathan expected. Not a towering, regal figure draped in gold, but a slender, almost frail Zenturian with pale blue-gray skin that bore the marks of age. His central eye was clouded, yet his 2 outer eyes gleamed with intelligence. The vast throne room, sparsely decorated and bathed in light from tall windows overlooking the Verilian Sea, felt strangely intimate. Only a few advisors and guards stood by as the Emperor's calm but commanding voice filled the chamber. "Approach." Nathan stepped forward, uncertain whether to bow or kneel, and settled for a respectful nod. "You are the human carrying the blood of Zentur," the Emperor said, not as a question, but a fact. "So I've been told, Your Majesty," Nathan replied carefully, "though I don't understand how." "Show me the pendant," Varaxian instructed. Nathan lifted it, and as sunlight hit the blue stone, it glowed with a deep inner radiance. The Emperor's clouded eye suddenly cleared, shining gold. Gasps echoed through the hall. "The tear of Zorin," he whispered in awe. "Not seen in our line for over a century." Nathan frowned. "What's the tear of Zorin?" "It is a key to our past and perhaps to our future. Proof that your connection to the royal house is no coincidence." His gaze hardened. "Tell me, Nathan Brooks of Earth, what do you know of your grandmother?" "She was a merchant captain," Nathan said. "Traveled through this sector, settled on Earth. She gave me this pendant on my 12th birthday." The Emperor leaned back thoughtful. There was once a princess, Zalora, daughter of Emperor Varaxian IV, who vanished during a mission 120 Earth years ago. Her ship was lost, and with it, the tear of Zoran. Nathan's heart pounded. You're saying my grandmother could have been her? That's impossible. She was human. Or appeared to be, the Emperor replied softly. Ancient technologies could reshape flesh without altering royal DNA. Forbidden but real. Nathan's thoughts spiraled. Why would a Centurion princess abandon her throne to live as human? That, said the Emperor, is what we must uncover. Records from that time were deliberately erased, but now, with you and the tears return, the truth may surface. He gestured for an attendant carrying a small device. With your permission, a genetic sample. Nathan nodded. A tingle passed through his arm as it scanned. If my theory is correct, Varaxian said, you may hold not just royal blood, but the memories of your ancestors, encoded in your DNA. Nathan blinked. Memories? That's impossible. Not for the royal line, the Ram interjected. At the quantum level, ancestral memories can pass through generations, surfacing as dreams or instincts. Nathan's breath caught. Those recurring dreams, purple skies, shifting corridors, could they be fragments of another life? Then why was I imprisoned? He demanded. If I'm royal, why was I treated like a criminal? The Emperor's expression darkened. Because power breeds enemies. Your arrest was likely no accident. There are those who would kill to prevent Zora's bloodline from returning. A chill spread through Nathan's chest. So I'm in danger? You are under Imperial protection now, Varaxian assured. But remain cautious. You have stepped into centuries of buried intrigue. As the Emperor rose, the room bowed deeply. You will stay here, as a guest of the Imperial House, he said. Escorted to his quarters, Nathan stared out over the violet waves of the Varillian Sea. His old life, his identity, had shattered. If the Emperor was right, he wasn't just Nathan Brooks, the wrongfully imprisoned human. He was heir to a secret legacy, one powerful enough to reshape empires, and dangerous enough to destroy him. Nathan's new quarters adapted instantly to his human physiology, the furniture shifting automatically and the environmental systems keeping perfect comfort without a word. Yet despite these luxuries, he felt like a prisoner of another kind. For 3 days, he'd been left mostly alone, visited only by attendants delivering meals or medics collecting further samples. No one would answer his questions about the genetic results or what would happen next. On the 4th morning, as Nathan watched ships traverse the Varillian Sea from his window, the suite door slid open silently. He turned, expecting another medic, but instead a Zenturian woman entered, radiating authority and nobility. You must be the human causing such a stir in the palace, she said, her melodic voice edged with steel. I am Zavara, Duchess of the Northern Territories and cousin to Emperor Varaxian. Nathan inclined his head. It's an honor, Your Grace. I'm Nathan Brooks. I know who you are, or who you claim to be, she replied, moving with fluid grace, her shimmering attire shifting color subtly. The court is abuzz with your sudden appearance and the royal blood you supposedly carry. I didn't claim anything, Nathan said evenly. I was a prisoner until your scientists discovered something in my blood. I'm as confused as anyone. Zavara studied him with her 3 sharp golden eyes. How convenient, she mused. Nathan's irritation flared. A year of wrongful imprisonment, and now being told he might be part alien royalty wasn't convenient. A faint smile touched her lips. You have spirit. That much is Centurion, she said, stepping beside him at the window. Do you know why I've come? Not just to greet you. She laughed, a chime-like sound. The preliminary results of your genetic analysis are complete and troubling. Nathan's heart raced. What did they find? Confirmation, she said simply. Your DNA carries quantum patterns from Princess Zora's lineage and evidence of ancient genetic manipulation technology, just as the Emperor suspected. Nathan swallowed. So my grandmother really was a Centurion princess? Zavara's gaze was steady. It appears so, which makes you unprecedented, a human Centurion hybrid with a legitimate claim to royal status. I don't want royal status, Nathan said firmly. I just want to understand this, then return to my life. Zavara shook her head, incredulous. Your old life ended the moment your blood was tested. Some in the court see you as a threat, others as an opportunity, and some believe you fulfill an ancient prophecy. Prophecy? Nathan asked. She waved a six-fingered hand dismissively. An old tale, likely irrelevant. What matters now is that the Emperor has convened the High Council, and your presence is required. As they walked through the palace, Nathan noticed the furtive glances and whispers. He was a living disruption, an anomaly in centuries of tradition. The High Council chamber was circular, centered around a glowing stone table. 12 centurions of high rank sat in anticipation, with the Emperor at the head and the ram at his right. All eyes turned as Nathan entered with Zavara. Nathan Brooks, the Emperor announced. You are invited because matters concerning your heritage cannot proceed without you. Nathan took the seat marked by a miniature imperial insignia. Thank you, Your Majesty. I hope I can clarify the Council's questions. A centurion with intricate facial markings spoke first. Let's not pretend this is mere curiosity. If he truly carries Zora's bloodline, we must address security immediately. Your concerns are noted, Grand Marshal Krazix, the Emperor said. But it's premature. The Emperor activated the device. A soft hum filled the chamber as a tingling crept from Nathan's skull down his spine. Strange, but not unpleasant. Focus on the pendant, Varaxian said. The tear of Zoran was built to link with this technology. It will guide you. Nathan gripped the glowing blue stone. The tingling grew stronger, the room warping and spinning until darkness claimed his sight. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in the chamber, but in a sleek laboratory far beyond even Centurion technology. He saw through another's eyes, a woman's, her hands steady over complex instruments. Princess Zalora. Her thoughts flowed through his mind, overlapping his own until they merged into one. The tests are conclusive, Zalora said to someone unseen. The degradation spreads faster than expected. Within 5 generations, over 60% of noble houses will be affected, and soon the general population. And my son? Came a familiar voice. Emperor Varaxian IV. Krian carries the markers, Zalora said, her tone heavy. The degradation has begun in his neural pathways. No symptoms yet, but they will come. First his central eye will cloud, then his mind. There's no cure? Not with our current science, she replied. But I have a theory. The disease stems from excessive genetic purity, centuries of selective breeding among the noble houses. We must introduce new genetic material compatible with our quantum patterns. You mean interbreeding with another species? The Emperor asked, shocked. The houses would never accept it. Not in the usual sense, Zalora said. I've created a process that reshapes a centurion at the cellular level, allowing them to take on the traits of another species while preserving their identity. Their descendants would be true hybrids, merging both forms and quantum heritage. And you believe these hybrids would be free from degradation? Yes, the new genes would break the cycle. If their blood ever returned to Zinter, it could restore diversity and end the decay entirely. The scene shifted. Nathan now stood in the Emperor's private study where Zalora argued with her father. Cian has discovered our research, she said urgently. He and his allies in the military council are shutting it down. They see any alteration of our purity as heresy. My son has always been a traditionalist, the Emperor said wearily. Perhaps he'll come to understand. There's no time, Zalora interrupted. The degradation in his own mind clouds his reason. He's already ordered 3 of my assistants executed for genetic treason, without trial. The Emperor's 3 eyes widened in shock. Impossible. Krian would never. He did, Zalora said grimly. "And he won't stop. He sees my research as a threat to his rule and to the purity of the imperial line. I've heard he plans to have me arrested next, to make an example of me." "I'll speak with him," the Emperor promised. "I'll make him understand." "It's too late," Zalora whispered, her voice breaking. "The degradation has advanced more than we thought. His central eye may be clear, but his mind is already failing, and he has too many followers who call my work heresy." She drew a steadying breath. "I've made my decision, Father. I'll use the transformation on myself. I'll be the first subject and ensure the cure survives, even if I must leave Zinter." "Zalora, no. There must be another way." "There isn't. Not if we want our people to live." She touched his face gently. "The Corvian prophecy speaks of blood twice removed and returned anew. I believe it refers to this, the royal bloodline leaving its centurion form and returning as hybrid blood to heal the degradation. I must be that blood removed, and my descendants the blood reborn." The scene fractured into flashes of memory. Zalora enduring the searing agony of transformation as her body shifted from centurion to human, her escape aboard a small vessel, her arrival on Earth, and her new life as Eliza, a merchant captain who roamed the stars but avoided Zenturian space. Finally, her choice to settle on Earth, to marry, to raise children, ensuring the royal genetic patterns endured in a bloodline free of degradation. Her last clear memory, placing the tear of Zoran pendant in her grandson Nathan's hands. Within it she had hidden everything, the truth of her identity, the origin of the degradation, and the genetic key to its cure. Nathan gasped, snapping back to the present. He still sat in the chair, the humming device silent now. Emperor Varaxian stood before him, concern etched across his face. "You were under nearly an hour," the Emperor said. "What did you see?" Nathan's head throbbed with Zalora's memories. "Everything," he said hoarsely. "My grandmother knew one of her descendants would return to Zinter. She planned for it, and for the degradation." "Did she find a cure?" Nathan touched the glowing pendant, pulsing with his heartbeat. "Not a cure exactly, a prevention. The pendant contains genetic data that could introduce hybrid factors into the Centurion genome gradually, strengthening it without changing your form." The Emperor's clouded central eye brightened as he stared at the pendant. "Then the prophecy was true. The blood twice removed has returned anew, to save us from the corruption within." "There's more," Nathan said, rising unsteadily. Zalora was right about Krian. The degradation affected his mind before the body, made him paranoid, obsessed with purity. And it wasn't just him. Many nobles with the mutation developed aggression, paranoia, xenophobia, long before showing symptoms. Realization dawned in the Emperor's eyes, including perhaps those who arranged your arrest. Nathan nodded. "If they suffer from advanced degradation, they'll see you, and me, as threats. Just like Krian saw Zalora's work as treason." Varaxian strode to a wall console. "Ram, summon the High Council and double the guards around Nathan's quarters. We may have enemies closer than we thought." The following days were a whirlwind. Data from the Tear of Zoran was decoded by the Empire's top geneticists, confirming Zalora's century-old theory. Hybrid genetics could halt the neural decay threatening their species. Using Nathan's blood as a base, a treatment was created. The first to receive it was Emperor Varaxian himself. Within days, the clouding in his central eye began to fade, scans showing the degradation reversing. News of the miracle spread quickly, though the truth behind it remained confined to the High Council and a few trusted scientists. Plans were made to distribute the treatment across the Empire, starting with the worst cases. Through it all, Nathan was treated with growing reverence. Even those unaware of his heritage sensed his importance. A week after the extraction, Nathan was summoned to the Emperor's private gardens, a vast expanse of glowing Zenturian flora. Varaxian sat beside a reflecting pool, looking stronger and more alive than ever. "The treatment exceeds expectations," he said, smiling faintly. "My physicians believe the degradation will be fully reversed within a month." "I'm glad," Nathan said sincerely. "Zora would be proud to know her work finally succeeded." "Indeed." The Emperor gestured for him to sit beside him. That brings me to your future. The High Council has debated your status at length. As Princess Zalora's direct descendant, you hold legitimate noble standing within our empire. Some even claim you have a right to the throne, though your human physiology complicates that. Nathan chuckled softly. I have no desire to rule Zenter, Your Majesty. I'm human in every way that counts, no matter what my blood says. As you wish, the Emperor said, but you cannot return to your old life as if none of this happened. Your arrest was arranged by a military faction that learned of your heritage and feared its implications. They've been dealt with, but others may still see you as either threat or opportunity. Your safety on Earth can't be guaranteed. So I'm trapped here? Nathan asked, uneasy. Not trapped, honored, Varaxian corrected. I'm offering you an official role, Imperial Liaison to Earth, a new diplomatic position allowing free travel between our worlds under Imperial protection. You'd help establish relations with Earth's governments and promote cultural and scientific exchange. An ambassador, Nathan mused. Of sorts, but your allegiance would be to Zentor. You'd be recognized as a member of the Imperial family, a prince of the blood, with all accompanying privileges and duties. Nathan looked out over the garden, where iridescent insects danced among alien blooms. Just a month ago, he'd been a prisoner with no hope or future. Now he was being offered power, purpose, and a bridge between the two worlds that shaped him. He thought of Zalora, who had sacrificed everything so her descendants could return to heal her people. Of Eliza, his grandmother, who had quietly preserved that legacy on Earth until the time was right. I accept, Nathan said at last, on one condition. Name it. The charges against me are erased and a formal apology issued, not just for me, but as a matter of principle. Already done, the Emperor said. The decree was signed this morning. Nathan smiled. Then I suppose I have a new job, and we have a new beginning. Thanks to the blood twice removed and returned anew, the Emperor replied. As they walked back toward the palace, Nathan felt the tear of Zoran warm against his chest. No longer just a relic, but a symbol of the journey that had carried him from a prison cell to the heart of an empire. His grandmother had known this day would come, had prepared for it across a century. And as the twin suns of Zinter rose, painting the horizon in gold and violet, Nathan Brooks, human by birth, Zenturian by blood, diplomat by choice, stood ready to begin the next chapter of a story written long before his own. The routine prison blood test that had once doomed him had instead changed everything. The empire that had imprisoned him now hailed him as its savior. If you made it to the end, don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments. Your feedback, good or bad, helps us improve. And if you enjoyed this story, leave a like, subscribe for more, and check out the next video on your screen. Big hug and see you in the next one.